I receive a lot of questions from patients with urinary tract infection. This is what Jennifer writes. For the past 10 years, I've been dealing with urinary tract infections, urgency, frequency that seems to be worsening. I've seen good doctors, taken medications, but while this helps short term, it doesn't prevent my bladder issues from returning. I've noticed, though, that my symptoms rear up when I'm under a lot of stress. I want to get off this merry-go-round. Is there anything I could do? So yes, Jennifer, there is so much that you can do. The first thing is good for you that you've seen your medical doctor, because you do want to make sure there's no active infection. If there isn't an infection and you've noticed that your symptoms are worsening when you're in high levels of stress, this shows that your nervous and immune systems might be overly sensitive. Now, the job of the nervous and immune system is to send information to the brain. The brain's job is to protect you, to make sure that you are safe. And if the nervous and immune system has become overly sensitive, it's now on more of the lookout for threats. We are wired as humans to be aware of danger and aware of threat. Now, threat does not have to be just physical threats. Threat can be emotional. I feel fearful and worried today. Psychological. I'm never going to get better. And social. I didn't have a great interaction with my husband the other day. I'm worried about that. All these are adding to the threat information that the nervous system and immune system, now overly sensitive, now shoot to the brain. The brain in a normal, healthy body will assess these messages and determine, is she really under threat, and do I have to send her signals of distress to get her moving? Or you know what, I'm just going to ignore it. But if you have a system that's been overly sensitive and sending lots of threat messages to the brain gets overrun with these messages and says, I have to step up my protective mechanism. You know what? I'm not going to weed out anything. I'm just going to send her signals of distress. And for women with urinary tract infection, it typically is a sensation of urge. So do you know that story in Harry Potter, the first movie, when the invitations that Harry got to go to Hogwarts is trying to get into the uncle's house. The uncle refused it. And then all of a sudden, there are reams of letters flying through the letterbox of the house, cascading down the chimney, pouring out through the fireplace. Well, this is what happens when the brain is overrun with threat messages. So what does that have to do with me? How can I have any say over this process? Well, you do have a say, because what we've learned is that this is a learned pattern. As I said, we are wired to look out for threat. But what if we gave a little bit more soothing techniques to our nervous and immune system? And how do I do that? So part of soothing is mental, psychological. So when you first wake up in the morning, instead of going right to that worry about your day and can I manage something and will my urgency be back today, how about thinking about something that you're grateful for? The way that you feel lying in bed, you had a great night's sleep, or that you love living in the environment in the house that you're in now. And also being more aware of your self-criticism. A second thing is to be more self-compassionate. When you give yourself compliments, when you say, I did a really good job today, your brain floods your body with that dopamine. Another technique would be to go out and walk in nature, even just for 15 minutes. Being out in nature without using your phone, your senses get very calm, very in tune, and that sends safety to your nervous and immune system, and therefore to your brain. The other technique would be to pet your cat and dog, because when you do that, your brain releases that love hormone, oxytocin, and your pet also gets some of that too. So these are some of the techniques, along with movement and along with breath techniques, to help send signals of safety to your nervous and immune system throughout your day. You don't need to be sitting on a rock in India to get this feeling of calm. So part of my gift to the Live UTI Free membership is that I also would like to give you my copy of my ebook, Heal Your Pelvic Pain with Science. This is a wonderful first step to understand, why does my brain send me signals of distress? And more importantly, what can I do to reverse this pattern? Because it is a learned pattern that can be unlearned. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy my ebook, Heal Your Pelvic Pain with Science.